Space Astrology Podcast. I'm Laurie Rivers, your host, here to help you with some inspiration to get those aspirations out into the world. Boy, is this a week. This is the week that had me baking cookies and wondering if I needed to bake brownies also back in 2024 when I was doing the 2025 year ahead, which is something all patrons at the supporting level get. If you're in my Patreon, make sure you look for that in the collections where you can find all of the recordings, all of the ebooks, all the good stuff. It's all in the Patreon. Click around. There's so much this week. So I'm going to give you some tips and hints on how to manage this big energy because 2025 is about to stand and deliver. So get your coffee, get your tea, get your matcha, get your hot cocoa if you're in Australia, if you're in the Melbourne area, stay warm, stay dry. And whether we're doing the hot girl walk, hot guy walk, or we're taking the kids out, going on a family vacay, whatever we're doing, ending school, going to graduations, we'll do it together. And so deep breaths, because we're going in, but I've got you covered. All right, let's get this show on the road. This is a heck of a week, okay? I was working on this last year and I was like, my God, what's going to happen? It's going to be crazy. And it would have been no matter what. This is very volatile energy. We could see big storms and hurricanes and, earthquakes and all kinds of things. So we're going to sit back and we're going to relax. Oh my God, guys, it's nuts. So Jupiter is moving into Cancer. It's square Saturn and Neptune. And this is very destabilizing energy. And it is the people at odds with authoritarian, or if we look at Saturn conjunct Neptune, maybe illegitimate authoritarianism. We're going to see a lot of things kind of get out of hand this week as people try to hang on to power. And this is global. This isn't just in the United States, but the United States is going to be a pretty spicy place. There's going to be a lot of fighting over who has the authority. And I've said for a long time, this is the month that I saw. And when I say a long time, I'm not talking last year or 2023. I'm talking 2021 and 2022. I said the summer of 2025 was not good for the one who uses a lot of spray tan. The person in the White House, this is not good energy for them. Not sure what's going to happen with that. And I've talked about that in my Patreon. Speaking of Patreon, we got to give big shout outs to our patrons for sponsoring this podcast. We are 100% listener supported. And the unwavering support from either our vibing patrons who are at the free levels or our supporting patrons who do the $5 and up. Some people see it's like $7.50. That's because Apple charges a surcharge. And even though there's been a court case about that not being okay, that they can't ban other people's apps from being a payment gateway, and Patreon has submitted the fixes for the app, Apple isn't rushing anything through. Funny enough, you don't have to purchase through the app on your phone. You can purchase a membership, and you can even gift a membership for somebody else through a browser. So you save the 30% Apple Store fee when you do that. I wish I could give discounts on yearly memberships to existing patrons, but Patreon doesn't have it set up that way. So there's nothing I can do about it. But we did have a sale on memberships, and I'm going to do one again for the solstice. Speaking of the solstice, if you're a patron, mark Friday the 20th on your calendar, because we're going to do our vision board party. We do it every year. It's super fun. It's a great way to get together. Make sure you join us for that. And then the 21st of June, I'm doing the 2026 year ahead. And that's a spasa meatball too. But it's a different kind of flavor of spice. So we've got a lot going on this week. I'm going to keep it a little shorter episode. I know, like in the wintertime, the long episodes are really great because, you know, the weather's gloomy and what have you. I know people want to get out and about, and so I'm going to keep it short here. And then the patron only podcast will have some of the real meat. But in this episode, what we're going to talk about is what to expect in the headlines, what I think might happen. I'll give that a lot more in depth in the patron only podcast. And then, of course, we always do our patron shout outs. And then I'm going to give you some tips and hints on how to use this energy to move forward, because that is what we've got going on this month. All right. So it is all about leaving the past and moving forward. Okay. And this energy rings out over time. It doesn't mean like on the 9th exactly something happens. It could, but that energy also goes out over time. And this is a great time to liberate yourself from the stinking thinking and your social programming, your cultural programming that holds you back, that says people like us can't do these things, or we aren't allowed to be whoever we are. We can be self-actualized and still work in community. In fact, I will argue that without self-actualization, there is no real community, because everybody's just playing a role and they're not really being themselves. And this energy is helping us liberate from some of the stories we've grown up with or create for ourselves that hold us back. And my goal is always to help you liberate self so you can be in concert with your fellow humans. All right, let's get this show on the road. Let's talk about them headlines. All right, the big day, June 9th. June 9th, we have Jupiter moving into Cancer. That in itself isn't bad, but it's making an immediate square with Saturn and Neptune, and that's just a whole lot of a lot. It's a lot of energy. And looking at what's going on in the world right now, I think we will say things get really and truly out of hand as we go through the week. I don't think somebody's going to have a very good birthday on the 14th. I just don't. I think they're under an immense amount of physical strain, mental strain, emotional strain, whatever kind of strain you can think of. It's not good. And I think the one thing I have to tell you is, as we move into that Mars square Uranus from Leo to Taurus, whatever happens is going to come unexpectedly. Okay. There are unexpected events, and it's how things are going to happen. And I was trying to explain that on the TikTok. And if you're not following me on TikTok, please do. They may have had you unfollow me, so make sure you are following me. I've been doing some lip syncing there to some interesting songs. You might want to check out the one I did on Sunday night. But I used a popular 90s song. But no, and that one wasn't Alanis Morissette. I'm just going to read what's in the headlines from the Awake Space Astrology magazine, Prediction and Horoscope June edition. You can find that in the Patreon. So the moon's going to be in Sagittarius, and it's spicy. Spicy is as spicy does. Hands have hands. So things are going to start to get out of control. We could see fires rage out of control. This is global. It could be a homeless encampment where something starts, or on public land in the United States, or it could be a bushfire globally. We could see explosions due to corrosive materials near waterways. So something near a port. It could be like an oil refinery or a holding tank for some kind of chemical. We could see some kind of environmental issue. We could see extreme heat, record-breaking temperatures. We could have major issues with marine travel. So any kind of boat, navy, cruise ship, any kind of marine transportation. I'm also watching now. I'm recording this on Sunday, June 8th. I'm watching the Freedom Flotilla. I am very concerned about their safety. They are unarmed and they're peaceful, but that hasn't stopped Israel from doing harm to protesters in the past, and it's probably not going to stop harm coming to them. So keep good thoughts for there. We'll probably find out on Sunday night, if not Monday morning, about the Freedom Flotilla. So maybe after this comes out on Monday, or maybe you've heard about it and you're listening to it now. All ceasefire attempts fail. Nothing's going to hold. We could see issues with the United Nations, NATO, EU, international organizations. Basically, we got the moon in Sagittarius, and it's at that waxing gibbous stage, right? It's right before the full moon. This is where tension really builds. This is where people feel super spicy, deeply emotional. You want to use all of the tools in your toolbox to stay calm with this. Let's see. We've got a high-profile bankruptcy potentially. Treasury and Federal Bank in the United States are under pressure. Congress is in turmoil, and we could see a constitutional crisis. Looking at what's actually happening right now with calling the National Guard without the governor of California's approval, this could get hot. Let's see. Acts of war or a terrorist attack is possible between June 9th and 11th. This is global. Big accident in sea could be a hulled ship, capsized boat, somebody lost at sea, refugees have an accident, or Navy skirmish, or all of it. Now, that might be that Freedom Flotilla again. I certainly hope not. I'm wishing them well. We could see information leaked about Elon Musk, or Elon Musk could be doing the leaking. I don't think that feud is over, and I think there's a birthday present coming that could be pretty volatile. We could see more public violence, nationalism, right-wing and left-wing clash. This is global. I think things in LA may heat up, even though protesters are being peaceful. If somebody gets seriously injured on Sunday night, which is a huge possibility looking at the astrology, things could get very out of hand in Southern California. So we'll see. I thought the good news is they ordered like 2,000 troops and only 300 showed up. So there you go. International agreements fail or are suppressed, opposed, suspended. Journalists speak out, refuse to comply with censorship. They may double down on resisting attacks on free speech. This is global, but I'm thinking in the United States. Religious leaders and organizations under fire or very prominently in the news. And I do think, Pope Leo is doing his address on the 14th, which was a holy troll, wasn't it? But at the same time, I think there's a bigger event that will steal Trump's thunder. We could see a political leader fall ill, has public health crisis, or a leader of one party or some party has an issue that is impossible to deny. It could be serious health concerns. It could be an accident. They could trip and fall. It could be something very, very obvious. This might be the U.S. president. It may not be. It could be global, but we're going to see, because it could be King Charles. I said Prince. King Charles. Sorry, I'm old. Accidents with missiles and or satellites. We could see, again, also really big storms come in, lightning, hail, explosions, chemical plant failures, and we could hear a lot about nuclear waste. Earthquakes above a 6.0 offshore, more likely, or more volcanic action, and it could be under the water. So that's what we've got the 9th through the 11th. The 11th is the full moon in Sag, and it's very, very volatile. If you are a patron, I'll be going through what to expect with the full moon and how to use that energy best for you. and what kind of rituals you can do to release tension, release worry, doubt, insecurities, etc., and how you can use it for you. June 12th through the 14th, the moon is in Capricorn, and it shows who's really in charge. Now, this is some big bada boom energy. The minute that moon in Capricorn enters, it is in opposition to Jupiter. It is squaring off with Saturn and Neptune. And I think this is, people are really like, if they don't get the situation in LA under control, there's going to be a pushback. And the federal government is really going to look like a fool. Like, I know they already do, but more so because it's not going to back down in LA. I think it's going to get more intense. Let's see. We got a big weather event: rain, flooding, snow melt, erosion, rock slides, sinkholes. Infrastructure failures could involve massive loss of life and or infrastructure damage. And when by that, I mean buildings, bridges, freeways, shoreline issues, things with like seawalls, etc., levees. That kind of infrastructure is under strain. We have failed governments and countries with coalitions. This is global. Issues with sea level rise or flooding. We could get some science news out. Issue with military jet or helicopter. Air accident or train derailment. It could also be trucking. Violent rhetoric and calls for violence. Security problems in public spaces, civil unrest, and protests. Now, remember, I wrote these way before this situation happened. So we could see attacks on public figures or people of note. Elon under strain or under investigation or leaves the United States suddenly. Keep your eye on that. Immediate blowback for gaffes in public speaking. Popular person or person of note says something that gets them canceled or loses them support. Corporate failures, CEOs removed, bankruptcy. Public figure or political leader has health crisis that leads to hospitalization or happens in public view. This could be an illness, fall, neurological issue that is global. We will see a historic event. This could be violent storm, terrorism, or public upset, or all of it. Big infrastructure failure, more than one in more than one place. We're going to see things collapse or get blown up or fall down. And again, bridges, buildings, levees, dams, there's failures of some kind. We could see issue with an oil pipeline or platform or drilling operation, erosion causing storms, tornadoes, hurricanes, changing temperatures, thaws and freezes, even snow and lower elevations depending on location. That could be Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, Southern Hemisphere, Chile, Argentina as well. We could see issues on the U.S. borders. Seismic activity increased up to a 6.5. And I think we could see that more in Asia and the Asia Pacific region, although never rule out anywhere that gets seismic activity. We could also see some in Greece and Turkey. We could see some volcanic activity happen as well in the Mediterranean. Don't leave out Italy for that, but it's gonna get spicy. We could see a bombing, a terrorist attack, or an explosion of some kind. King Charles or other royal could face a deepening health crisis at this time as well. Accident on a mountain or at high elevation. This could be like Mount Everest or in the Alps or the Cascades or the Rockies. It's very high elevation. We can see landslide, mudslide, rockfall, sinkholes, and violence could break out in the United Kingdom as well. So there's some kind of tension happening in the United Kingdom, and we could see tensions spill out on that as well. Remember, nothing ever happens every single place. There's usually pockets of violence. If there is violence, keep your eye on the news so that you don't accidentally walk into it. 14th through the 16th, the moon in Aquarius is bringing its taser, and it knows how to use it. Tasers or lasers. For some reason, laser beams have been in my head, so who knows? That might be a satellite thing. Big wind and rain. Southern hemisphere could face massive storms with surges and erosion causing waves. Could see a tsunami in the Asia Pacific region. Could see an explosion in the District of Columbia on the 14th ahead of the parade, or some kind of disruption to the event that takes away from the U.S. military parade. So there could be something in D.C., but there could also be some really big event that happens somewhere else that completely overshadows that parade. We could see a big solar storm happen between the 14th and the 19th, and big northern light show. Communication failures, satellite malfunctions, internet glitches, and hacking announced. International coalition places sanctions on a major power. We could see crypto slip, dip, or suddenly gain. It's going to go either way. It's either going to pump or it's going to dump. International agreements and treaties fail. Internet disruptions, satellite failures, huge protests in Eastern and Western Europe could occur, border issues in Eastern Europe, increased chance of seismic activity above a 6.0 in any active region, a greater than average chance for small swarms of 3.5 and lower in volcanic areas. Major world event on June 14th. It's global. Okay. It's not just what's happening in the United States. We could see an attack on that day. And I also have missile launches, bombings, and drone attacks. It's global. We could see more than one attack. We could see one country attack another country and another country attack another country. India, Pakistan could heat back up. Russia, Ukraine could see an issue. We could see Israel strike Iran. All of those are within the realm of possibility. Innovations are announced in tech or medical equipment. So there's something good. The U.S. military could have an accident, face a loss, or is attacked. This could be anywhere in the world. Could be in the United States. Icebergs, melting glaciers, sea ice, and AMOC, and climate crisis all up in the headlines. You hear about fertilizer, farm technology, and land or land use. Security concerns increased in major cities. Vehicular violence in a crowded space or crowded spaces. This is global. Big issue in Asia or Asia Minor. This could be an explosive event. It could include acts of war, or it could be seismic activity, volcanic activity. This I have set for the 14th. Could be the 15th. Surprise announcement regarding a political leader, figure, or elected official. We could see the legal system under strain, justices under threat, or the government agencies closed. The dollar dips, or the money market and bonds or commodities are unstable. We could see issues with a power plant, chemical plant, accidents and explosions. Tech sector volatile, issues with AI and more layoffs. And that's what I've got. There's probably more, but that's what I've got. June 16th through the 18th. June 16th through the 18th, so that gets us to the 15th. Monday the 16th, the moon will be in Pisces, and it has everybody talking and nobody listening. It's like splashing in a pool. We can see record-breaking waves in the areas with surfing. This is Australia, Hawaii, Fiji. We've got a big storm that's been named Barbara out in the Pacific. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. It may have already hit Mexico by that point. Pharmacies, drugs, and medication, communication disruptions, Navy clashes, issues with submarine, loss of a ship or sub, or accident with the Navy. 6/17 could see a really big earthquake or a big storm. That'll be Tuesday, or it could be a solar storm. So that's we've got a lot of sea accidents starting next week. We could see an issue with JD Vance, and Trump is under pressure. Those guys are both under pressure. So there's a lot of stuff coming up. I don't think it's going to end the way everybody thinks it's going to end. I don't think anything's going to happen. that we either want or expect to happen, but there could be a health crisis for Trump. Yeah. So I'll go a little bit more into depth. This is just what I see in the headlines. It doesn't mean it's the only thing that's happening. So don't can you give me good news? There's good news all the time. Okay. And some of this will be good news to some people. It just depends on your perspective. There is a lot going on right now. We are involved in massive systemic change. We've been in massive systemic change since, probably 20 years, but this is a pinnacle as everything has to kind of come to a head in order to get the changes we seek. Okay. All righty. So, we're going to do some Patron shout outs. And then we're going to talk about how to work with this energy to round out the podcast. Welcome, new patrons. We always give our newest patrons a shout out. Without patrons, there is no podcast. So huge thank you to you. I'm on my phone app here. We've got Mooncake, Chris, Julia, Angelica. Who am I to judge? Valerie, Kath, Sandria, Judy, Deb, Amanda, Ariel, Kari, Amanda, Amy, Jessica, Sonia, Jewel Sphere, Latent Dream, Adrian, Rodriguez, Eric, McKaylee, Big Red 44, Ella, Edie, Serena, Mary Beth, Swamp Goblin, Darcy, Emily, Summer, Tiffany, Jordan, Briella, Stephanie, Amy, Amber, Megan, Tiffany, Clever Girl 38, Brittany, Bellady, Kate, Jordan, Talon, Maggie, Danielle, Denise, Janice, Manda Panda, Dara, Spooky Latte, J-Leaf, Kalia, Beam, Laura, Amy, Allie, Tamika, Megan, Stephanie, The Heathen Equestrian, Hillary, M. Knight, M. Hawk, Katrina, Robin, Hannah, Dallas, Gabby, Lou, Jordan, Cassandra, Sasha, Lilith, and Jackie. Big thanks for you guys joining. We're going to take a minute and we're going to take some deep breaths and we'll talk about how to use the energy. All right. So how to use the energy. So there's a lot of energy this week. Jupiter coming into Cancer, squaring off with Saturn and Neptune. We have the full moon in Sag. We've got Mars square Uranus. This is all a lot, and it's easy to get overwhelmed by the energy. So a couple of things. Don't forget to keep your breathing up. It is not glib to breathe. What is annoying is when somebody's really stressed out and people go, breathe. Don't do that to people. But just ask people, what have you tried that works for you? Now, sometimes people say, well, I tried that and it didn't work, and I tried that and I didn't work. And if you're one of those people who likes to argue for your limitations, I'm going to tell you right now, this week is going to be difficult. Okay? We can't afford to argue for our limitations right now. We have to be like, well, I tried it, but I was a little distracted or I was pretty upset. It would be easy for that not to work. I'll try it again. So when I talk about breathing, you need to sit up straight. Okay. Put your hands on your belly. You can see my hands on my belly here. And we're going to inhale, making this expand. All right. We're on Jupiter. We're going to expand the belly. All right. So notice the chest is widening and we're filling an inner tube, right? Now we're going to exhale slowly. All right. Now, the first couple times you do it, you might be like, yeah, that's fine. Don't hyperventilate. The other thing is roll your shoulders. Are your shoulders tense? Is your neck tense? Treat your neck very kindly and very gently, but just feel the tension there. Just be very gentle. You don't want to be hard on yourself. First of all, there's a lot of energy. It's going to be hitting absolutely everybody. All right. Everybody this week is going to get hit by this energy. It's super important to understand. Okay. So we're going to make sure our body is relaxed because our body and our brain work together. You can't just change your thinking. You have to change your posture too. Otherwise, you go right back into the habit. So you can roll your shoulders, especially if you're like me and you hold your tension in your upper back, like just under the shoulders, you can just roll the shoulders gently one way, roll them again. Why am I talking about this when we're dealing with energy? Because you can't stay grounded if you're wound up really super tight. One of my favorite exercises for releasing tension is to, instead of trying to just totally relax, I increase the tension. I intensify it. So like I'll get my hands really, really tight and then release. You'll feel it. Okay. You can do it with your face. You can make, I'll make a weird face here. Right. You can do that and release. It'll also probably make you laugh. And that's good. That brings those endorphins up. You do it with your arms. You want to just get tight there and then release. Do it all the way down. You can start, I like to start with my toes and work my way up. And it's a really good thing to do before you sleep to help release any tension. It can help you go to sleep. The physical is really important to pay attention to as we move through this week. Because the more you just, if you're letting your attention go all different places and you're not paying attention to your body, you're going to be wound up in knots. And that doesn't help. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. We have ultimate cosmic power. We're huge. Our souls are huge and they're all interconnected. And then we get shoved into these individual little bottles, the human body, right? And so in order to really connect up, we have to be grounded and centered and relaxed. Things that you can work on is stop looking at things as good or bad, all or nothing. Look, the duality, it does exist in the physical dimension. And the more we emphasize attachment to outcomes, the more we emphasize attachment to moralizing things, the more outrage we build when we see what we don't want or when what we want taken away, and the more we're able to be manipulated by people who don't necessarily have our well-being as their number one intention. Okay. We also want to be able to be nimble, adaptable, and able to move on our feet, whether it's because of a natural event, a political event, what have you. We don't want to be paralyzed because of this over accentuated emotion. We want to be able to act with ease, whether it's run away and retreat or it's join the fray. Everybody's different. Okay. With Saturn and Aries, I'm still going to argue we have to take personal responsibility. We can't keep looking for other people to do things for us or take responsibility for what we need to take responsibility for. So it's super important that we look at how we take action. Okay. This week is going to be a lot. It's going to be really easy to get distracted. I'll be going live in the Patreon, as everybody has noticed, is a whole lot more fun than being on TikTok. We'll be going live when there's spicy stuff. I'll try to come on. I have readings this week, so it'll have to be like after readings. And so a lot of times I go live at night. Don't feel like you've missed out on anything because the audio lives tend to be very, very informal. The video lives, I do a replay. But if you have FOMO, don't. It's like, that's just my whimsy. You're not missing out on anything important. If it's important, I make sure everybody gets the information. I don't withhold from my patrons, okay? A lot of times I might be frustrated and communicating helps ease me. It helps relax me. You all have to know what works best for you. I will be going on live a couple times on TikTok this week. I obviously still give more to my Patreon. I'm going to give it where the support is. I'm doing more TikToks just to make sure people don't forget about us. Other ways you can use this energy this week with Mars square Uranus. It's just expect the unexpected. Be very careful driving. Be very careful driving. Keep your eye out. People are going to be erratic. People are going to be on edge. People are going to be very quick to be frustrated or even violent. And so I don't want you to be scared, but just be aware. Be a little more vigilant when you're out in public spaces. If things are volatile at home, this is not the time to have those big talks or try to work it out. You're not going to get resolution this week. Give it a minute. Give it a minute. Things continue. This is like a catalyst week. So what happens this week kind of grows over time. And I wouldn't expect miracles per se, but I think we're going to see some very interesting events this month, especially as we move through this week. There will be things that are a little disturbing, whether it's acts of war or terrorism or authoritarianism, and you need to step back from it. Unless, as I always say, if it's not impacting you personally, don't own other people's trauma. Don't try to own their pain. It doesn't make you a better person to do that. If we're paralyzed through grief, worry, doubt, fear, pain, and other people are the ones actually struggling, then we can't be of service and help them. So it's really important to do what we can to, feel our feelings, but then take a step back so we can take action. So there's that. All of the readers on wokeastrology.com, which is where you can get readings and consultations from the astrologers. Susie, she's great. She's trauma informed. She is really able to work with you where you're at. Damien is a wayfarer. Damien can really show people how to authentically journey through life. And then we have Shelby, and Shelby is just hella accurate. She is a remarkable astrologer. Her attention to detail in a very compassionate way to help you make decisions and move forward. All of them are available for readings, and I just highly recommend each one of them. I wouldn't have people read under me if I didn't think they were very capable. So check the show notes for a fun little 20% off for readings with them. I don't think I have a lot of time on the books. I'm trying to get my classes out because I've got Finding Your Side Gig Using Astrology, and I have Healing the Money Wound, both coming out soon to teach again in a 6-week workshop. And then I also have Marketing Magic, which is a workshop I've taught before on how to use your chart to find your message, find your authentic voice, etc. So I'll be teaching more as we go through the summer. So I can read, I can teach. I can't do it all at the same time. That's one of the things I've learned to liberate myself, to stop overcommitting and wearing myself out. So I really encourage you to check out Woke Astrology. It has a brand new look. Susie did a beautiful job in rebranding it, and I think you're really going to love it. It made my Libra moon very, very happy. Let's see, it's a short episode today. On the Patron only episode, I'm going to give you a walkthrough on how to use that full moon, depending on where it falls in your houses. And I'm also going to talk a little bit more about what I think is happening with Humpty Dumpty and some of my guesses for what the surprising events might look like. I'm Laurie Rivers. I want to thank you for listening to the Awake Space Astrology Podcast. Let me know in the comments if you like this shorter version, at least for the summer. I'll be glad to hear what you think about it, and if you want more shorter content here, and you can always have the longer form content in the Patreon. Thank you for tuning in. We'll talk to you next week when the shenanigans continue. And I'm here for you.